This is the bad boy of this paper that caused a lot of nightmares for so many students. All right, let's look at this. All right, what do we have? We have a circle. So where's a circle? There. See that? That's your circle. It's got a radius of r. So from the center to the edge of the circle, anywhere to the edge of the circle is r. Okay, everywhere is r. Everywhere is r. Now notice here that if I go from the center to this is also r. Okay, which is this little hexagon here. So I'm told that there's two other hexagons, right? So there's lots happening here. Let me just see if I can highlight this in a different color so you can follow what's going on. So this is my circle. Let me see if I can. Yes, done. That's my circle. Then we have the big hexagon, and then we have the smaller hexagon inside the circle. All right. I've distinguished this to you, so when I'm explaining, you may be able to follow things a little bit clearly. So we're told that each side of the larger hexagon, the blue one, okay, ABC, is a tangent to the circle. You can see that. Look at that. That's a tangent. Each side is a tangent. It's a regular hexagon, which means all these sides are the same. All right, tangent to a circle. So now remember what I said to you. If you put the middle of the circle, the center of the circle, let's say here, right, and now you've got a tangent to a circle, they make 90 degrees between them. Just remember that. Okay, everywhere there's a tangent to that. Yeah, it makes 90 degrees. Okay, 90 degrees there. Sorry, wrong one. That way. It should be 90 degrees there, everywhere. Okay, that 90 degrees is made. Remember that. I just drew one of them. All right, next. Each side of the smaller hexagon, the green one, is a chord of the circle. So just to remind you what a chord is something that goes inside the circle from one end to the other end, but it doesn't go to the center. Okay, that's a chord of a circle. So like this line here is a chord to a circle, right there. Okay, now the important thing is, though, a chord and a radius. What's the link between them? Well, let's zoom in here. A chord and a radius meet at 90 degrees, and it's exactly half. All right, these are the facts that should be flooding into your head as you're reading this question. All right, we have to consider perimeters. Okay, perimeters of these. Okay, and show that we can end up with this somehow. All right, so where do we start? Let's look at the inner hexagon. Okay, let's start off with the inner hexagon, the green one. All right, so inner hexagon, or smaller hexagon, I should say, yeah? But inner hexagon is better, I think, yeah? So with the inner hexagon, we have this, and this. These are the perimeters. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, obviously, hexagon. So 6 of these sides, all right? But let's split this shape up a little bit more so we can understand what's going on. Let me get rid of this first. I just want to look at the inner hexagon here. So if the inner hexagon, look what I'm doing, from the center to there. That is the radius of my circle. Why? Because I'm going from the center to the end of the circle. All right, so that's R, and that's also R. You see that? I could do that throughout the whole shape. Draw my radius of my circle, and it also becomes something to do with my hexagon. Okay, now it is a regular hexagon, remember, which means, all these angles are the same, but what have I drawn? What kind of triangle are these? All right, I don't know this yet, but this is an isosceles triangle, isn't it? Okay, all of these are isosceles triangles that I've drawn, which means that because these two sides are the same, that's why it's isosceles, by the way, which means that these two angles will be the same. Okay, it's very important to understand this. Okay, but at this moment in time, I don't know what this is. Okay, so it could eventually be not an isosceles triangle. I might discover this is R as well, and therefore it will become an equilateral triangle. Okay, that's something that we will find and determine in a second. But let's focus on a bit more about the hexagon. If it's a regular hexagon, what do all the angles in a hexagon add up to? Let's focus on that, okay? And then we can determine what type of hexagon, what kind of triangle that we have. If we use the formula, n minus 2 times by 180, the hexagon has 6 sides, minus 2 times by 180, which is 4 times 180, which is 360, 720. And then we know we can work out one of the angles of this hexagon. All right, it could be like this one, for example. Yeah, all of these. So we do 720, divide that by 6 angles that we have 120. So divide that by 6, we have 120 degrees each internal angle. And if all of this is 120 and it's splitting exactly in half, remember we said it's definitely an isosceles triangle, all right? So it's going to have to be split in half here. Each one would be 60. That would be 60. And therefore, If that is 60 degrees and this is supposed to be 60 degrees, that is supposed to be 60 degrees, that is supposed to be 60 degrees, that's also going to be 60 degrees because angles in a triangle, 180. Add these two together, take away from 180, you get 60. So this ends up becoming, we have proved it, equilateral. It's an equilateral triangle. Every single triangle there is equilateral, all right, with an angle of 60 degrees. All right, just leave that for now. Let's look at the perimeter of this. What would the perimeter be? If it's an equilateral, this is R, like I've written here. Okay, how many R's do we have? We have 6 of them. So the perimeter of the smaller hexagon, I should write it down here actually, with the diagram that I've got, is going to be 6 times by R, which is 6R. So that's the perimeter of the smaller hexagon. Okay, all good. Now, let's focus on the larger outer hexagon. All right, so that is the blue one. Okay, now we were told that it was a tangent to the circle. Remember that? Yeah, it was a tangent, and they make a 90-degree angle between them. So I showed it to you at the beginning, but I did rub it out. So if we start here and, I don't know, go there, that's a radius. Can you see? That's a radius still, but it's not a radius. It's no longer a radius if it goes that way, just so you know. Yeah, it's no longer a radius from there to there. So look, I'm just thinking how I could take this diagram. I'll just draw it. Circle. Right, so from there, let's look at the larger one. So if I go from there to there, that is a radius of my circle, and I have a 90-degree angle here. But this is the one I said I don't know about, okay? All right, right there. But if you look at the hexagon itself, I can break it up into those blue lines. Those are the important parts of the hexagon. They are all this like equal triangles split up equally. All right, so that middle section here is R. All right, I don't know what this is at all. Okay, this is not the radius. The blue line is not a radius because look, it goes outside of the circle, so it's no longer a radius. That is what I need to be looking at. But if I look at one of these triangles, let me just draw it out like this. And I have my there. I know that this is a right angle and this is R. So maybe I could use a representation to find one of the sides, maybe this one or something. Yeah. But more importantly, it's a hexagon. So all of these angles, what are they? They are 120, like we worked out earlier. Okay. So all of these angles, right, from there to there. Let me do it over there because I don't want to disturb that one. So 120. We know that these lengths are the same because it's a regular. So therefore, it's going to be an isosceles triangle. So again, it's going to be, we're going to have an equilateral triangle again, aren't we? I think so, yeah. We are going to have an equilateral triangle. So yeah, we are going to have an equilateral triangle again because I was going to say this is an isosceles first because these two sides are the same. But if you have 60 here and you also have 60 there, then obviously this has got to be 60. All right, so we end up having a 60-degree angle here. We have this to be 30 because remember, if you split the top 60 in half, it's going to be 30. And this is an isosceles triangle that you're splitting up. That's another angle fact that you need to know here. Okay, so we've got this situation right there. So what we can do, remember, it's a perimeter that we want. Yeah, perimeter is to work out the lengths of these lines, which is the bottom line here. So if we look at one of these right angle triangles here, we've got our 60 here. We've got this as 30. We've got choices now, and we've got this as R. How can we work out this side? Let's call it the opposite. So using the 30, we're going to use this 30 angle. This is going to be opposite. And this side is going to be the adjacent. What uses opposite and adjacent is tan. So we have tan of 30 is equal to opposite, which is your R, divided by your, sorry, not R. Opposite is your, opposite, which is your opposite. And divided by your R, which is your adjacent, your TOR. Right, so if we have opposite, multiply the R on the other side, so we have R tan 30, and we don't need to do this on our head, we can get that value. So that is equal to R times root 3 over 3, which is simplified to root 3 R over 3, like that. Okay, we have it like that. So that is this. Okay, that's what we've just found, but we want 2 of those because we double it. Okay, so we're going to times this by 2. So it's going to be 2 lots of root 3 over 3R. I don't know why I write it in so many ways. So therefore, we're going to have 2/3 of root 3R. That is one of these full lengths. So that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Yeah, one of these. But we've got 6 of them, don't we? So I'm going to make some room. Why am I running out of space? Okay, I'll go down here. We've got 6 of them. So it's going to be 6 times 2 over 3 root 3. Actually, you know, why am I writing root 3 down here? Let me just do it like this. 2 root 3 over 3r. So the 6 and the 3, they divide by 2, no, divide by 3. So that becomes, I can cancel out there. That becomes a 3, sorry, a 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. So you end up with 4, why am my pen not writing? 4 root 3r. All right, so that is the full perimeter of the larger hexagon. Yeah. Now let's go back and remind ourselves to consider the perimeters. We have to get this. We have to end up with this. All right. So for the smaller inner hexagon, the smaller one, we got the value 6r for the perimeter, and the larger one is this. So you know the circle, the poor circle that's in the middle, watching all this happen. The circumference of this circle, the length around that, the perimeter of that, otherwise, is going to be between the larger one and the smaller one. The length of the circumference is going to be a number between those two. It won't be equal to it, because otherwise you won't get this whole shape like this. So the larger one is got to be bigger. So what is the circumference of a circle? First of all, 2 pi r. So we can write down 2 pi r, which is the circumference of a circle, is going to be between the smaller hexagon, which is going to go here, and the larger hexagon there. Let's put the larger one here, 4 root 3 r. And the smaller one was 6r, wasn't it? 6r. We now just need to make this simplified so it looks like that. All right, let's see. We can divide all the r's. We can divide by r. So if we divide by r, cancel, everything divides by r. So 6, 2 pi, 4 root 3. Next, we can divide by 2. If we divide by 2, divide that by 2, you get 3. Divide that by 2 is just pi. Divide that by 2 is 2. So we end up with 3 pi 2 root 3. And that is exactly what it wanted you to show.